Hello everyone, it's California 32 Special again. Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate everyone stopping by. When I was showing off my Baitcaster Bass Pro rod, I made a reference to a budget rod that I have in relation to, in relation to a talk that was had on Travis P11 channel about budget fishing poles and budget fishing gear. Black Cat Outdoors actually did a really nice video showing some of the gear that he would suggest for a budget starting setup. But his didn't include a rod and reel. So I wanted to show what I have as a the most budget friendly rod and reel setup that I have. This is actually California Belle's favorite rod and reel. Is actually the one that she uses and probably will end up keeping in her car eventually. I was at an outdoor show, and I think it was final day of show, so they were one of the shops was doing a special. We have a Penn. Let me spin this around so I can actually read it so I don't get the information wrong. This is a Penn PG rod. It's 6 foot 6 inches long, medium light. It's like a medium light action. It can take a quarter up to 5/8 ounce, lure, and suggested 6 to 12 pound line. I believe it has 8 on it right now. I had terminal tackle, which you see we have a snap swivel and a couple weights on it because she was using it for bait fishing last. The reel itself is a Penn Powergraph 1500, and it can hold 210 yards of 8-pound mono, or monofilament line, commonly referred to as mono. Because I got this at the show on a show special price, the rod and reel combo was $20, including tax. Now that is an unusual deal to find, but if you're looking for a very budget-friendly fishing setup, whether you want to leave it in your car, have it for a backup, or your primary, nothing wrong with that either. This rod has actually landed several trout already. I've had it about 3 years now. The pens are pretty decent quality, might not be bad to look at. But what I strongly suggest is actually go to the outdoor shows if you have them around. Go to garage sales, yard sales, flea markets. You might be able to find something similar for similar pricing. Don't be afraid to, it doesn't have to be brand new. This one happened to be, because I was at the show just with a friend looking around. I wasn't actually looking for a setup at the time. When I came across $20 for this, I couldn't say no. Yeah, this has landed several trout already, and because it hasn't been used a whole lot, I inherited 15 rods and 17 reels from my grandfather, along with about 6 or 7 tackle boxes. So I switch around between gear quite a bit, simply because I can. But yeah, that's for rod and reel like this. Line that fits your application and what the setup is capable of taking. Like this is up to 12-pound line for the pole, and the reel says it can take up to 145 yards at 30-pound. Now, the rod says it can't handle 30, so I wouldn't ever load 30 on the reel. I'm also not going to be locking into big fish on this rod. It's not what it's for. It's a fairly it's a fairly light setup. Now this can be fine bass pole, trout pole, that kind of thing. I wouldn't necessarily be my first choice for, locking into, hooking into anything more than about 20 pounds. Even that would be a big fish probably for the setup. Now you can do it if you're good enough. I've seen a friend of a friend land a 48-inch sturgeon on 6-pound line. So it is possible. The fisherman just has, or fisherwoman, just has to be that much better. And I'm not that good. But I don't know if that is helpful to anybody. Hopefully it is. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Thank you very much for visiting the channel. Have a wonderful night. I'd like to thank everyone for stopping by the channel. If you want to see more of my content, I encourage you to check out my website, calaveras32special.com. Links below in the description. I also encourage you to check out gunchannels.com. Online, two-way community, set up and operated about 5 years ago at this point, by G-Webs, or Mr. Gun Websites. He is a avid activist for, our two-way rights, so that's where I encourage you to stop by there, as well as his website, gearwebsites.com, where where a lot of his financing comes from, to help him, fight for our rights. I hope you guys are, willing to stop by, both of those websites. Oh, and before I get on mine, I have my Spreadshirt store link and my Patreon link over there for anyone who is so inclined as to helping out the channel. Much appreciated. And anything I decide any money I get over there, I'll be putting back into the channel, and I'll be giving my patrons a chance to chime in as to what they think I should be using it on. I want to say again, thank you very much for stopping by. Have a wonderful night.